take a look at that, and we'll be ready to perform any actions the program might call upon us to do with regard to the nitrogen tank. And as far as I'll pass off the other guys to talk about how they feel about getting zapped with electricity. Here.
What's that? You want it?
Yeah, as far as the what actually drove our task on EVA2, where we have to go set up P6, heading outboard the Sarge, there's a potential plasma issue they wanted to resolve, and we're actually flying up some new workstations that are better isolated and should allow us to safely operate out there and mitigate that plasma hazard.
Kevin Oliver with WFTV. As astronauts, you guys are always thinking ahead, so I'm going to throw this out there. What are you guys going to do when this is all over with and there's 81 astronauts in the Corps and only 12 seats a year on the Soyuz?
Well, that's a good question. It's something that we're all going to have to face. I'm living in denial a little bit right now and just and really enjoying the moment. Our focus is right behind us right now and just on this mission. There's a lot to think about, and I'm really excited about that. And someday I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do when I'm done flying and when I grow up. But for right now, I've got a great job, and I'm really enjoying it.
Andrew Rennie from Southern FM in Australia. A question for Steve Bowen. How does being aboard the space station compare with being aboard a submarine?
It's interesting because for years people had told me, oh, it's nothing like it, but I figured I might be the first person to really know. And the first thing that struck me when I crossed the hatch was the odor was very similar to a submarine that lived in recycled atmosphere. I think it's just a natural thing. A space station is just incredible, and it's actually got a little more living space per person than a submarine does, but its mission is obviously very different. And I think living up there would be very similar. You could ask Garrett what it was like to actually live there for an extended period of time, and someday I hope to be able to do that myself.
James Dean again for Florida Today. Colonel Ham, wonder if you could describe a little bit what it's like to ride that crawler, and also recognizing that you're a little tired from that, do you think you have a chance to see the launch tonight, and any thoughts about the X-37 compared to your vehicle?
The X-37 is smaller. I don't know a whole lot about the X-37. I think it's a fantastic experiment endeavor that they're trying to do. I think a lot of it's classified, so much of that is not out for the public, and I have not read anything beyond what you guys have probably been privy to. Riding the crawler last night was absolutely fantastic. A couple of us were sitting around about quarter to midnight or so, and an email came in from our launch director, Mike Leinbach, and he said, you guys got to come out here and see this, because they had the xenons on to make it extra beautiful. So those of us that got the email woke the rest of us up. They're all coming to their door like, what are you doing to us? I said, come on, put a flight suit on, we'll go on out there. And we ended up staying for hours, because it is absolutely incredible to see that. You know, I loosely call it a battleship on the ground. If you've ever been on the crawler and on the MLP, it is like a battleship. It's navy gray. It's built like one. It has watertight doors. And being a Navy guy, I kind of identify with that, and I feel at home. So we had a great time out there. We took a lot of pictures. Some of them actually turned out to be kind of artistic, and I think it has something to do with the xenons and the way the light goes through the atmosphere or something. But it was just one of those moments that we shared with each other to remind us the reality of what we're going to do, and that is part of what I was alluding to earlier about how fun this business is. Thanks.
I was just curious if you could describe any differences or quirks between Atlantis and the other two ships.
That's a good question. I've gotten to fly on Discovery. I think we've covered them all with different experiences. Piers, which ones have you been on? Nobody's been on Endeavor? You went on Endeavor. We've covered the three of them that we're still flying between us. The obvious difference from a technical perspective that actually drives our mission duration is a NASA acronym called SPITS. It's basically a power cord, an extension cord, where we can get power from the space station and power some of the space shuttle orbiter systems and save the orbiter's cryo and stay up longer. So that the major difference is Atlantis is missing that power cord, so that will drive our mission duration. We'll do our best to keep the lights down and all the extra computers off so we can stay up there as long as there's work to be done. But that's the big difference.
Bill Harwood again. Maybe it's for Piers, or I don't know who it's for, but who does robotics on this mission? And I assume that's done from the lab, or are they going to have the workstation? Is that ever getting into cupola anytime soon?
Well, we're hearing they're going to move everything into the cupola pretty soon, so we'll be sitting there in our sun lounger, doing all the work, looking out the window. It's going to be terrific. So looking forward to about a week's work every day in this greenhouse hanging up underneath the station.
Are you the arm operator, though, for installation?
Garrett's doing some, and I'm doing some, and Tracy Caldwell, who's already up there, is going to be supporting us.
Okay, thanks. And one for the commander. You mentioned when you got here that you got a veteran crew and that you all work well together. Can you just tell us a little bit about the advantages of that in terms of training and what you guys expect, everything else? Thanks.
Yeah, it's a good question. What are the advantages of having a veteran crew? And they're probably more than you might realize. We've all been rookies or first-time flyers before, and I think we would all agree that when you don't know what you're getting into, you require more training. You require more time to get your head around all the daily operations that go on up there, as well as the primary mission objectives. But having done it once, lived through the whole year-long training program, lived through a mission, lived through the post-flight, that's a huge benefit going into a second mission. We were able to credit a lot of our training that is in a normal flow and cut it out due to the fact that we've flown recently. I think all of us, except for Piers, have flown in the last 2 years. And Piers, it wasn't that long ago before that, in your last flight. So we're all very current on orbiter systems and space station systems. And that helped really ease our burden of training. And from a sort of a emotional standpoint, if you will, when you fly the second time, I know I'm looking forward to the ride to ascent or the ride to orbit, because I think I will see and remember a lot more than last time. Last time was a Yahoo 8 minutes and 23 seconds. That's pretty much what I remember. This time I think I'll remember a lot more.
Kind of a follow-up on that question, recognizing, again, you've all been through this before, just wondering what do you get out of TCDT in addition to the bonus crawler ride with this dress rehearsal and everything you're doing over the next few days? What's enjoyable about that, and how does it prepare you for your launch?
I'll pass it down the line for some of the enjoyable stuff. I think I'll skip that part. But for the work aspect, we have done this before, but I think for all but Piers, we've only done TCDT once, and it was a year ago. So you don't remember everything that you did a year ago on one particular day. So just going through everything that we need to do for the mission one more time, a little closer to launch, and just getting to see it again and have it refreshed. So I don't think we're learning too many things that are brand new during this trip in our training, but we are getting refreshed on stuff that we've seen before. And then we have gotten to do a couple of enjoyable things. So we'll see if Garrett's probably best at describing the enjoyable stuff.
Well, we mentioned the crawler ride. That's definitely the highlight. But also, you get to drive a tank, which is which is pretty cool. Now, I have a 1975 International Scout, which is pretty close. The armor plating on that thing is just a little bit thinner than what we drove yesterday, which is an armored personnel carrier that we could use if we have the slide down, if we had an emergency on the pad, and we had to get away of the vehicle in a hurry before it takes off. We have some slide wire baskets and an escape system. So we hop into these baskets that are on these wires all the way from up there, all the way down to the ground, so we can woo down in a hurry if we had to. And then there's a bunker right over there. And then if we needed to get even further away, if that wasn't safe enough, they have a tank there that we can hop in and drive to safety. And we had to practice driving that tank, and we did that yesterday. And so that's not something I get to do on a daily basis, and it was really fun.
I'll just add real quick. It's just my favorite part is just getting down here to Florida, being close to the vehicle. It just brings it home that, hey, you're going to go launch into space in a couple weeks. and it's just great to be down here and see the folks that have worked so hard to get this vehicle ready, and just to train with them